not as smart as
big old thing, big old round reels.
for the movies.
No,
something like that.
for music.
It's for music.
Wait, no, I have never in my life ever. So, Derek, you're just old.
Yeah,
Is it yours or is it your mom?
I would dare not ask you. I would dare not ask you what is a 45 and a 78.
I know what a 45 is.
You know, but you know what
I
a 78 is.
have one in my house. I have them because I have a record player.
Do you really? You know what a 78 is? Well, 78 was before 45.
Is that the one that's like in between the two sizes?
No, it's about the size of it. You got. I hope you got an album. You know what an album is, right?
Yeah, I know that size, and then the 45 is a smaller one.
A smaller one. Well, before 45, we had 78s, about the size of an album, but it only holds about 2 or 3 minutes of music. It holds about as much music as a 45, and then they came out with the little 45s and so forth, and then the rest is history.
Jill, just so you're clear, I'm sharing it. This is what a reel-to-reel looks like.
Thanks. I don't think I've been complete without you doing this for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh no, never in my life. No. No.
I don't see where the reel. I didn't see a reel. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Let me see it. So for sure she know what a reel look like. This only thing I see it says $4.95.
Look over to
the. You may want to adjust your thing to look on the other side. It's on the other side of the screen.
Wait a minute. Hang on for a second. Let me hang on just for a minute. Let me see if I can buck. There it is. Okay, I see it now. Exactly. That's what a reel look like.
That's really.
And you had to buy the reels and put them in that thing to make it work.
You recorded your music on too.
Let me stop. Go ahead.
Anyway, so thank you, Mr. Vernon. Now that we all got what reels are out, everybody's like, "What are y'all talking about?" I know they're like, "This is not the show we signed up for. This is the show you get today, right? We're giving all kinds of education. We inform and transform." DJ, welcome. What do you have for us today?
Well, since Christina popped on, I'm going to let Christina tell everything that's going on in Santa Rosa since she got the list.
Okay. Well, we go right ahead, Christina. I'm going to tell you before Mr. Vernon tells you to turn your phone the opposite way, so it'll be wide.
And put some light in front of you. You need to have some light so we can accentuate your face.
What she did?
Okay, well, maybe not.
Well, Christina can just I'll say what I remember from off the top of my head. I know we sent Mr. Vernon a video. I don't know if you got it or not.
I did.
Okay. So we recorded that today with all of our upcoming events in Santa Rosa County. We've got a couple Mardi Gras parades on the 31st in Milton as well as Navarre. So make sure you check the local city and county websites in order to figure out where you're going to grab your spot along the parade route. We're having a Democratic Bad Bunny Super Bowl party in Gulf Breeze, which is at 5:30 at Pedro's. And that's the Pedro's location in Gulf Breeze, not Milton. So come to the south side. And then there is the Black Caucus meeting, which I believe is the 20. Let me double check my calendar. Christine, you can pop in at any time. I believe it's the 25th. February, and then the Santa Rosa County Democratic Party meeting is on the third Thursday, which is the 26th of February. Anything else, Christina, that I left off? Okay, that's it.
Look at you got stacked again, Vern. Vern having some difficulty.
We're struggling.
What was again, Jerry? What was your comment?
They're stacking again.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I see it over here. I'm working on it.
Okay.
All right, we will move on. Just to make sure that we have everything. Christina, I'll give you another opportunity. Did you have anything else to add to what BJ said?
I'm so sorry. It's really hard to hear, so I'm trying to get my life together. I do have this wonderful list. Thank you, BJ, for reminding me. I had to go run grab it real quick. Milton is having a Mardi Gras parade January 31st. It's going to be from 3, starts around 3. It's going to go from James Street to Stewart Street, ending at Burger King. I'm sure y'all will talk about Equal Ground on the 4th of February. On February 7th, Navarre is having their Mardi Gras parade. That's going to be from 1 to 3 p.m. Democrats, Santa Rosa Democrats are going to be hosting a Democratic Bad Bunny Super Bowl party. We are going to be doing that on Pedro's February 8th at 5:30 p.m. We are looking forward to supporting Okaloosa DBC at the Valentine Dinner. That's going to be February 14th, 6:30. We are going to be changing our DBC meeting. Normally it would be on the 17th, but we're going to do this on the 18th. We're going to hold this at the CMF Center. We're going to have our in-person meeting. We often celebrate Black History. We have some light food, refreshments, and just want to remind everyone that dues are due. And so dues for the Democratic Black Caucus are $50 a person. Unless you are a senior, it is $30 a person. I'm sure BJ talked about the DEC meeting. That will be on the 19th. And then on the 21st of February, the Democratic Women's Club for Santa Rosa County is going to be holding elections. So all offices are open. If you want to make a difference, please, please, please come out and join us. Dues to join the Democratic Women's Club are $30. And that's all I have right now.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Next, we will move on to our wonderful neighbors in Okaloosa County, represented by Jill Lewis Daggs. Ms. Jill, welcome. What do you have for us today?
Good evening. I'm glad I could share with others and get educated today. They pick on me often, and it's all good. We're just going to go with I don't know everything, and I'm okay with that. Whatever, Derek. Jerry, you have to stick up for me sometimes. You have to say, it's okay if Jill doesn't understand or know what that is. It's okay. So in Okaloosa County, of course, I thought we already went over all the MLK stuff. So we're going to go with that was great. All the festivities was great. We have some exciting things going on in Okaloosa. So for those that are engaged in their city council. We just had a city council person who stepped down, and they appointed Elder Sylvester Eccles. He's getting sworn in on Monday. He is an amazing African-American leader in our area, and there were other people that ran against him, and even he was excited, like shocked that they decided to put him in that seat. But he does go to meetings, he does speak up. He's like a quiet storm, and so we're excited. And along with that, our new city clerk is Natasha Peacock. She's been the assistant for probably 11 years, and she was also just put into office. Again, another African-American young person. We are super excited. Things look different, and it's good. It's a good feeling to have people in office. We're not as fortunate as Escambia to have Democrats and people that look like us in a lot of offices. And so this is exciting for us. And so I want to share that first. We also do have a Mardi Gras parade in Crestview on the 31st. You can look into their city calendar and get into all of the things. They have a whole weekend full. It starts on Friday, and they have a whole weekend full. And then also, as Christina stated, the Democratic Black Caucus, Okaloosa County, has their Black History Valentine's Day event that is going to be dinner. Tickets are $25 if you are single and or coming by yourself, and then $45 for couples. And you can make this your sweetheart, your husband, wife, significant other, or you can get together with a whole bunch of friends, or you can make it Galentine's Day. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. It is at a historical location, which is Carver Hill in Crestview. For those of you that are traveling in, you come off of I-10 and go just a little bit down past Walmart, and it's in that area on the left-hand side. Way. And we are looking forward to having a really good time. This is something that our newer president, he's been here now for over a year, so he doesn't get the new, but our newer president, who is also thinking about running for office, decided that he looked around and didn't see anything going on Valentine's Day. So he said, you know what, we're going to do it. And it's you get a free professional photography picture done. We're going to do it. He has this wonderful vision. So if it comes to fruition, it should be beautiful. And we ask that everybody that's watching join in. And the reason that he decided to do it is we started a scholarship years ago when I was the president, and the scholarship was for our members who had passed away. So it's a memorial scholarship that we're going to give to one or two students this year to help them when they go away to go to college. And so if you can't come, you can always donate. We also, as just in the end, I believe Escambia, Santa Rosa, Okaloosa, and all the other chapters across the state in the DBC are accepting membership. We do have to send it in this week. So if you are interested, please reach out to either Derek and Sandra McCreary. Is that correct? Perfect. Great. Christina Forrest, who is Santa Rosa's president, and then John Armour or myself or any of our members who will be more than happy to let you be a member, or if you want to buy a ticket, you can buy a ticket. If you want to donate, you can do that. And Equal Ground, are you doing that, Mr. Derek Scott?
Right.
Okay, so as Christina alluded to, on February 4th, Equal Ground is joining with, let me see if I get all the names right, the NAACP, WBPQ, Real Women Radio, Movement for Change, and Northwest Florida Panhandle Coalition for Civic Engagement. You see the flyer that he has up. They have buses. We'll find out the final on the buses on Monday, I assume. And they have buses that are taking you there, or you can drive over to Tallahassee. They do a big rally. They get you to legislative sessions so you can actually understand and hear and see and sometimes speak on what's going on the floor. You get to meet some of our legislators. They feed you really well. You get a great lunch. You get a great dinner. And then they have other programs that they'll put on so that you can learn about our government, what's going on, and then what you can do when you get home. So it's more than just going that day. It's going that day so that you can get prepared for the work that's ahead of us. And we know just with all that's going on almost every day, how important that'll be. And it's not just, although very important, registering to vote and doing vote by mail, but it's educating yourself on the processes, the procedures, and then actually going to the ballot box and voting, or putting your vote by mail in the mail. It just takes all of that. I think that is all I have for that. And the last thing I want to go over is on February 9th, they have, unless they change it again, Senior Airman Fortson's justice for him. They are putting that on at the Okaloosa County Courthouse. They want us there at 9 o'clock. They've asked you to wear navy blue, and they want to pack the courthouse in support, and we need everybody. So this is something where we really need the community to come together, all different backgrounds, all people, compact that courthouse. And all the family is asking for is justice and accountability. Justice and accountability. Know that this happened over a year ago, and we are still waiting for the first court date, first one. So we invite you to come be a part of this and let us show here how we're going to hold our elected officials and our sheriff and those that are supposed to protect us accountable. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful overview for Okaloosa County and what we've got going on over there. Just a couple of things I thought I would share as we go, and I'll try to do these in order as we have them. Coming up tomorrow, which is Monday, the 26th, there are a couple of events that we want to make sure we bring to your attention. The first of which is 5051, the organization that brings you the No Kings, No Kings 2, and things of that nature, is doing an emergency protest from Pensacola to Minneapolis, I think it is. And I was like, what's NPLS? It says it's to stop ICE terror and expand the general strike. And that's going to take place here in Pensacola on Monday, which is tomorrow, January 26th, at 4:30 p.m. at the corner of Palafox and Garden Street. So you are encouraged to come out and join those who will be protesting in that endeavor as well. Immediately following that, what I would also make sure that everybody is encouraged to come out to is that the city of Pensacola is having their statewide or citywide State of the City address. And that's going to be on Monday, January the 26th, from 6 p.m. to 7:30 at the Sanger Theater. And that's 118 South Palafox Street. It's sponsored by Civicon, but it is free and open to the public. Again, that is the 2026 State of the City address. It's important that you go out and send that and make sure that you know what's happening. A lot of changes. If you're in Pensacola, you saw that just Friday, the man, DC Reeves, just unveiled a new logo for the city, despite seems like all of the city council people were left in the dark on that decision. So it's really important that you know what's happening in the state of politics and in your government and what's happening in the city of Pensacola. So again, I urge everyone to go out to that, and that's on Monday, the 26th, which is tomorrow, at 6 o'clock at downtown at the Sanger Theater. As we move forward, yes.
Before you go, Derek and Christina and Jill, y'all make sure, and Dr. PJ, y'all send me when you get those flyers like that, go ahead and send them to me so I can also have them to talk about during the week.
Okay.
All right.
You want to by email or by text?
Email them to me. Yeah. If you will.
So
Thank you.
No problem. As we move on, this past Saturday, we were fortunate to have our very first candidate canvassing, which we knocked doors in the city of Pensacola for a multitude of candidates that the Democratic Party has here in Escambia County. And we want to invite you to continue in that. We're going to be knocking doors every Saturday. Well, again, on the 31st, which is coming up this Saturday, and then following that on February the 7th. We meet at our office, which is located at 2618 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive, which is here in Pensacola at the intersection of Martin Luther King and Frost. We give you all the information you need. It's a great time to meet some other folks, get out in the city, talk to people, know what's going on and what their concerns are. So if you have some time, we'd ask that you join us in that endeavor. Again, the next opportunity we have is this Saturday, January 31st, from 1:30 to 4 p.m. at the Escambia Democratic Office located at 2618 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. As we move forward later on, as we move forward all the way into February, for those who might be interested in running for office, there is going to be a candidate and campaign staff training that's going to be in person. It's Saturday, February the 28th. We want to get this information out. Capacity is limited, so please make sure you register early. You can scan, if you're watching us, you can scan the QR code that you see at the bottom of the flyer, or you can reach out to one of us and we can get you that information. But we want to make sure that everybody has this information that's readily available and ready to go. So we hope that you join us there for that. As we then move on, we kind of touched on it. I guess Jill kind of went through it quickly, but I wanted to just check in with everybody to make sure they had a great MLK holiday. What did they do? Were they able to participate in any of the festivities? Mr. McIntosh, were you able to go? What was your holiday like?
What was that, Derek? I'm sorry.
Were you able to participate in the parade and any of the festivities? I know you had a good weekend. There was some
Yeah, I went to the prep breakfast, the religious ceremony, and where we was honored. They honored my late wife Carol, and then on Sunday they honored me at the religious service. So it was nice weekend. Then the Martin Luther King Monday, Martin Luther King Day was really, really nice. As you know, it warmed up at first that morning. It was kind of chilly out, but it was really nice. So and kind of hung out with Vernon on announcing, narrating the parade. So, but next year we will be in the parade. Kind of my automobile wasn't working the way I wanted to work. My truck, rather. So I decided, I'm like, okay, this is enough. I'm not going to do it. I did walk around from Spring Street over to where Vernon was at. That's all I got.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for that. Jill, did you have any other thing other than it was good, fun time, or any other comments?
Yes. So Saturday, Crestview did their MLK event. I was fortunate to be with the Escambia team and at their prayer breakfast. So I missed for the first time, I think, in 10 plus years, the Crestview event. But it went over well. Congratulations, of course, to you, Mr. McIntosh, to Carol, to all of those that got awards. But back to Crestview, they said a very good turnout. They do an actual march. So they don't have floats, but they did have signs. They did have children. They did have banners and they marched. They said it was really well attended and it went very well. And then afterwards, they also that evening had an MLK program at Carver Hill. And then on Sunday, Fort Walton Beach had their ceremony that they do at church. And then Monday, I was able to join Lewis Jennings, who is the vice president of the NAACP Okaloosa. He and myself were the commentators for the Fort Walton Beach parade in the cold. I don't know that it warmed up for you, Jerry. That's great. While we were out there, they had us on this platform in the shade. And it was freezing. It was freezing. But the judges were in the sun, and so that was great for them. They got to be very comfortable, but it was good. It really went over well. A lot more children is what we were able to see. Different schools were involved. The NAACP, their young people came out, and the chanting and the energy was there. And then that was followed by going to Chester Pruitt Park, where they had their awards that they gave out, and I think I said the AKAs, Deltas, and then the Japa. That's how they won each one. It was first, second, third for how many people they had, for how energized they were, for the look of their floats and or what they presented. And so it was really just a good time. They fed us well. We had a keynote speaker, and just energy is building. Community was continued to grow. So it was a great opportunity, and just a really nice. I think the biggest thing I talked about with Vernon was, I just wish we could have that all the time. I wish that we could find a way to come together, and whether we're marching or we're speaking out or we're voting or we're just engaging in things in our community, that we did it together and that we supported each other, and that it's not just that one day where everybody can come together and pretend or really care about each other. And I say pretend because if you don't care about me the next day, then that was a pretend. And there's nothing about what MLK said or did that was supposed to be pretend or to last for 24 hours. It was supposed to be continuous until the dream comes true. And it hasn't come true yet. That's all I have.
Thank you for that. I have to make a correction. So I got some updates. It says that actually the state of the city for Pensacola has been rescheduled to Thursday, February 5th. So please disregard. Don't show up tomorrow. It is Thursday, February the 5th for that. And also, while I'm looking at our live stream, we've got several hays. We got a very specific hey, Jill, from Mr. Jermaine Williams and Tamara and Caroline. And everybody says good evening to everybody on the panel. So
I have breaking news. Can I give my breaking news? It's probably not important to half of the people out there, but for those of you who love Ross, tomorrow don't look at me like Ross Dress for Less. If you like the store Ross Dress for Less, this is breaking news. Tomorrow,
I thought you were talking about
Monday, January 26th, is their 49-cent sale. Do not miss it. I promise you, you will be able to get clothes and items and everything in that store. Not everything is marked down, and you do have to be strategic. But they open in Pensacola. You guys are lucky. They open like at 8:30 and 8 o'clock. But everywhere else, they open at 9 or 10. Get there about 15 minutes early. Get your shopping cart and go to the section that you really want to see. And I promise you, you will see things. Last year I went and I had really cute things that were $1.49. I think I got a few things that were 49, but it's like 99 cents, $1.49. So that's breaking news. I'm sure all inquiring minds wanted to know that. But if you are a shopper and you're looking for deals, you need to be at Ross tomorrow.
No stressfulness. 49-cent sale. All right. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. Now, as we are moving on into our first topic, make sure Jill, you got your moderator hat on and timepiece hat on so we can keep on schedule for today. I wanted to just remind people before we start, again, we say this quite often, but we have the election cycle that's coming up. And so we want to make sure that we share with each of you what to do and how to prepare. And the first thing you need to do is to check your voter registration to make sure that you are indeed still an active and registered voter in the county in which you live. And the second thing is to update or re-enroll or enroll, if you haven't already, in vote by mail. As you remember, vote by mail service, the enrollment opportunity expires after every election cycle. So if you have not registered or enrolled or re-enrolled since December 31st, 2024, you are no longer enrolled. So please make sure that you enroll in that service. You can go to, if you're in Escambia County, you can go to escambiavotes.gov, or you can call 850-595-3900. That's 850-595-3900. If you are in Santa Rosa, EJ, can you tell them what to do?
Yeah, it's votesantarosa.com where you can go to enroll and vote by mail. Just make sure you choose the option for all elections. There are several other options there that are purposely meant to confuse you, but you just need to make sure that you choose the option for all elections. That way you're not having to re-enroll for multiple elections.
And if you reside in Okaloosa County, Jill, can you tell them what to do for Okaloosa County?
They will do the very same thing in Okaloosa County. You go to voteokaloosa.gov, same process, and make sure, like BJ said, that you're actually reading what you're checking so they don't make you think that you have signed up for all elections and you really only signed up for the municipal elections or something like that. So I'm glad we're doing this early. Do it now. Don't wait, because you can fix things, you can correct things, and you can change things if you need to, if you start now.
And the last time I checked the website, the all elections was not the first option. So you did have to scroll to get to all elections. So just make sure that you're not clicking on that first option and scrolling and clicking next to the next screen.
Thank you. I want to just emphasize how critical it is that you enroll and vote by mail. Again, we continue to stress that enrolling and vote by mail does not give you or make you have to cast your ballot by mail. It simply affords you the opportunity or the option to either go in person on election day, go early during one of the many days that you're provided for early voting, or to send it in. It gives you a backup. So if you like one of those individuals that like to cast your ballot in person, you can always do that, but it just gives you a safeguard. I know Jill always has a compelling story as to why it is critical to sign up for vote by mail.
I actually have two. And you'd think I would have learned. So the first one, I had an emergency. My son was at Florida A&M University and had hurt his ankle and it got infected and they had to do emergency surgery. So I'm there thinking they were going to do it on Sunday, but they couldn't do it till Tuesday and I couldn't leave. But then they didn't do it till Tuesday afternoon. I was like, I have to leave because I have to go vote. So I had to leave him there with my mother-in-law so that she could sit with him while I drove all the way back to Okaloosa County so I could vote, and then drive all the way back to Tallahassee in the same day. And luckily it was Tallahassee. And then fast forward several years, in 2024, I had a catastrophic event happen where I fell, and it was right during the time to vote for Kamala, and I'm in Brevard County. And I did do what I was supposed to do. I got my vote by mail sent to my daughter, who was in Orange County in Winter Park. But by the time it got to her, they had sent me back to Niceville. I'm in Niceville without my vote by mail. I'm in a rehab hospital, and they, for whatever reason, this year did not take people to the polls. So I literally had to sign myself out, break out, and leave and go vote, and then sign myself back in, which was not really what you were supposed to do. But I was like, I have to go vote. And I don't want anybody to have to do that, because it's really so very simple to just, like we just said, go and ask for every single election to get your vote by mail. And once you have it, had I had it in my hands or had it with me, could have just filled it out and could have mailed it in and been fine. But I did vote, but there will be things that could come up. The weather can change. It can start raining. It could be cold. It could be hot. You could have a hurricane. That has absolutely happened. We know we're in Florida. That could absolutely happen. And you could literally just have to go out to your mailbox or to the post office or whatever to mail it. So we really want it to be your option A, and then your option B, if you choose, can be to go to the polls early or the day of. That way you always can make sure that you are ready and prepared and can vote.
Thank you for that. Now, as we have transitioned, let's transition into to this week's hot topics. Maybe I can't say hot topic. That might be copyrighted. But anyway, as we look, we first saw this week there was a demonstration that was in Minneapolis where some individuals who have seen access to the agents who are employed by the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. That information has been leaked, and they found out that one of their ICE agents was a local pastor, and so they did a protest at the church, and they were arrested. Now the DOJ is coming after our very own Don Lemon. Is everybody familiar with that story? What say you?
Yeah, then the judge throw it out. I think the judge threw that out. I mean, really, he's been doing podcasts and reporting for years, and all of a sudden they go because he was there recording what was going on, they went after him. But the judge did throw that out, and hopefully all the other stuff that they are taking to try to humiliate and shut people down and all of that, the judges will continue to get rid of and throw out these kind of cases, So that's all I got on it.
And I always like to add historical context to it. Obviously, I always say that there's nothing new under the sun. And we all know that Ida B. Wells, who was also a journalist and who made it her mission to chronicle the lynching of Black Americans in this country, was also terrorized by the government, was terrorized by local officials for the municipalities that she was investigating. And so what we see is not new. Hopefully the strategies that we use to fight them are just as effective as the strategies that she had when she was navigating a similar landscape in America.
Yeah, and you're right, and there's so many other Black newspapers back in that time. They burned them to the ground to keep them from reporting what was going on, and to make sure that people was not informed on the issues of the day. So many newspaper businesses was burnt to the ground, just like many of the towns and cities that Black people built and was prosperous. They either burned them to the ground or drowned them. The city still sit underwater, or they was forced removal. Forced removed from their properties and either killed and all of that. So it's a continuation. It hasn't changed. It just became a little bit more sophisticated in the language they use and how they do what they do, I would say.
I think it is ironic in that in what they've tried to do, they have attempted to use the Ku Klux Klan Act to prosecute. They attempted to use the Ku Klux Klan Act to prosecute Don Lemon for that. Like, the irony is not lost that in which a law designed to combat white supremacy is trying to be used to target Don Lemon. It's crazy in how things work. The hubris and the unmitigated gall that the Department of Justice and these folks have in today's society. What do you think? Do you think that this is going to prohibit people or journalists or anybody else from reporting on things as they move forward? What do you think this is going to impact? This is going to have on our ability to consume non-biased media on the ground?
I think it's definitely going to give reporters pause. Honestly, I believe Don Lemon isn't at CNN because he stood up against the false narratives of Donald Trump and his cronies. And now that he's an independent journalist and has his podcast, they are still going after him. I think what is happening is appalling, and it will definitely, I think it'll definitely give pause. And anytime you give pause to wanting to record a truth, to wanting to get a truth out there, it's an injustice.
I
The
mean,
thing
I
about
agree. I
it,
certainly think that they're going to make an example of somebody. It may not have worked with Don Lemon, but don't be fooled. Somebody's going to be made an example of, because that's just the way historically this has worked. It's ironic that they're using the Ku Klux Klan Act, but what that told me was that this is an administration that is doing their homework. They go in looking for laws from the 1800s in order to gin up, and they're just like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's put it in the courts and see what happens. This is a lesson that whenever we're asking the Justice Department to do things on our behalf and we get the hemming and the humming and the hand wringing, this is an administration who went to the 1890s and said, we're gonna see if this sticks. I guarantee you they're gonna try and find something else. This ain't the end for Don Lemon. I don't think it will be, but even if they're not successful with him, I think that they're gonna be successful with somebody to make that example.
yeah, and they use the oldest terror, that Ku Klux Klan Act, but they have never done anything to disband this terrorist organization called the Ku Klux Klan. And they are, because many of them were part of the Ku Klux Klan and their family members. And so that's why they haven't done anything to disband this organization like what they did to other Black organizations and the Black Panther Party and many other parties that had rose up in the country, and even civil rights organization they have went after to destroy or disrupt, to the point that it becomes so weakened that they have no real strength, because they separate the organization from the people, and that's unfortunate, because this is something they've been doing for years. But never disbanding the Nazi organizations, the Klan, skinheads, even what would them boys call that Trump said was both Proud Boys.
Proud Boys.
Yeah, they have never done anything to disband those organizations, because they good people on both sides. What you got, Derek?
Yep. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye to see. Hopefully, the injunction, the denial of the court to file the injunction to prosecute Don Lemon remains, but we will keep us involved and informed on what happens. Just going to our Facebook comments, Tamara Moon said, "Did y'all see the White House posted an AI photo of one of the protesters to make it look like she was crying as she was being escorted out, outright using AI to manipulate the photos and the news about what's happening." These are the times we live in.
Yeah. And they use everything at their disposal to manipulate the public, and there's too many in the public still believe it. Just like when the next topic that we're going to talk about, and that's the murders in Minneapolis. These people that are head of the Homeland Security, the Department of the DOJ, and JD Vance, all of them came out saying that this guy who has a First Amendment right to protest, Second Amendment right to own to for arm, and if his Fifth Amendment right was all was violated other day. Killed that man for no reason whatsoever, except he was trying to help someone else. And so by him trying to help someone else, he lose his life because of because they said he had a gun. But at first, because there's so many cameras out there, they were gonna lie and say that he pulled his gun on them and went there to kill a bunch of people. That was the lie that they were telling at first. But all of us saw it and saw what we saw, but they're gonna tell you differently. What say you, Bruno? Brunus, I mean.
My only contribution to this is we tried to tell y'all, and I'm really stuck between two places, and I have to do a lot more thinking before I figure out where I'm going to land on this, because there are a lot of white people, do-good white people in my space that are having reactions that I'm certainly glad that they're reacting that way. I'm happy with the response, but it does give me clarity that they don't see themselves in us. They don't look at our stories. They don't look at what happened to us and see themselves in potential outcomes for themselves. And I've gotten a lot of clarity on that. I appreciate where white people are in this moment. I think that it's important. I'm sorry y'all have had to see your brothers and sisters in communities of common interest suffer the consequences that everyone on this screen knows all too well. And so I'm struggling with trying not to say I told you so, trying not to be angry about why did it take this for you all to see, isn't what happened to us enough. At the same time balancing that I'm happy that the outrage is at least there. So that's where I am right now.
Jill?
I have to say, BJ, I absolutely love the way you said that. We need to put that like on a TikTok or something. Just saying. So for me, now I go back to last week when BJ and Vernon were saying they need to just get them arrested right then, just do something. Because now I'm like, okay, this is more than too much. Because in this case, they did start the lie. And I don't know if you saw on Facebook, the parents pleaded with everybody, please just tell the truth. Please share the truth about our child, that he was not there doing what they said that he was doing. He literally was just trying to protect someone. And there was absolutely no reason for you to then shoot him. There was none. There was none. There was just none. I think, as BJ said, I think this is great that some of you are now saying, wow, what have we done? What have we done? Or that's wrong. Like you're actually mouthing the words and meaning it, and that your heart is pierced, and you might even drop some tears. And I am too very happy for those that are just there. To our counterparts that were already there and you're in the fight, because we do have some friends that don't look like us that are in the fight. They're in the fight right next to us. I can name about 6 or 7 in Okaloosa that they galvanize and they get in. But to the other ones, I would say it is very unfortunate. It's fortunate you're doing it, but yet very unfortunate that it took this. Not 1, but 2. And now you're thinking, what have we done? And I just would hope that this doesn't become, I don't have anything else to go to, so I apologize for anybody that this brings bad memories to, but to 9/11, where everybody was in and they were communicating, they were doing something, and then it went away. And if you weren't involved, engaged, lost somebody, or it impacted you, it just was 9/11. So I need this not to be, oh, That was just two people. I remember it was horrible. And then not go to the polls, not speak up, not hold people accountable, not ask the difficult questions. And now that you're woken up, if it happens to someone that doesn't look like you, can you just shed the same tears, have the same feelings, fight back the same way? Can you?
You know, one of the things that Martin Luther, well, a couple of things he said. He said, you know, we are all tied together in a single garment of destiny, and whatever affect one, affect all indirectly. Uh, and he also said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and that's what we are seeing now, because the injustice that has been heaped up on us is now being because we are not in their way, um, which we eventually we're gonna have to get in the way. Uh, but because we are not in their way, they're you know, whoever is out there fighting for justice and against injustice, heads are being beat in, gas is being thrown on, tear gas and other percussion, um, uh, smoke bombs, and all of that. You know, rubber bullets are being used on people for no apparent reason except demonstrating their First Amendment right, the right to protest for rights, the right to protest against injustice in this country, and the right to protest to keep this democracy somewhat intact. And Trump and his secret army, mass thugs, terrorists, is trying their best to do anything they can to get people up in arms to the point that, you know, violence would become a part of what's going on, so they can use the Insurrection Act to declare martial law and end the midterm election. That's the goal, and we all know what the goal is. But there are those who will never believe that that is the goal. When the handwriting is on the wall, when we see they're doing everything in their power, even to kill someone while they got them on the ground. Same thing happened to George Floyd, where somebody had you know, somebody finally went to jail for killing a black person, and now they're killing white people.
Yep.
And you know, Malcolm X told us that one day he said chicken was coming home to roost, and the chicken was coming home to roost. You know, violence beget violence, and it's only a matter of time before they're going to hit the wrong person that's going to react, and that's when they're going to try to declare martial law. But then that's when the people should really get out in the street and demand that, you know, we can't have fascism, because if it turns that way, you know, we're either going to have to live under tyranny, and you know, they got to have, you know, when you're a fascist, got to have scapegoats. Any dictator have to have scapegoats, and you know that's going to be us. That's what we've always been, their scapegoats. So it is incumbent upon us to try to help as much as we can to stop the rise of a fascist dictator, a low down, dirty piece of crap.
So I have a question.
White House.
Here's my question, and you said it just now, and I'm not sure if you were saying we as in everybody, or we talking to communities of color, or what? But I remember when we were having this conversation last year about communities of color and their involvement and engagement in these protests and civil unrest and things of that nature. Seeing what we are seeing now, do you believe that we as Black folks, we as communities of color, we as whomever, need to be out, continue to be out on the forefront of the movement.
I think we're going to have to. I think we ain't going to have much of a choice. I don't see us not being involved. I don't think we will not have much of a choice to not be involved because other people are going to be protected. It's going to be us that's not protected. And that the goal is to make sure that we are split off from those what you call better white people in the country. And that's why they will kill them, to make sure that that the end goal is what they're seeking is to make sure that that the nation is totally white and the rest of us don't count in it, that you will not have any say so in the nation. And that's the goal. Because
I believe, I believe that we should do as the people Iran is doing. Okay, we need to seek a regime change, and I think people ought to take to the streets by the millions until things change around, because it's only going to get worse. Okay, it is just the beginning of what you're going to see, and I'm hoping that folks' eyes are widening now to see that when the killing of an innocent white woman, killing of an innocent white man, their lives matter. When it was killing black folks, I mean, I think people start realizing when we can see it with our own eyes. Sometimes you can lie your way out, just like the administration is lying their way out. Gonna lie what you can try to make you disbelieve what you see, and sometimes they're successful trying to do that. And so, rather than to allow that to happen, we're gonna have to take to the streets by the thousands, by the millions, in order to take this country back. Because if not, and I'm talking about peacefully, because I think Gandhi and Dr. King and many of them have proved that we can do that if people are united and see the cause. I think some people don't think that, well, it's to this point yet. These are just isolated incidents. No, they're not isolated incidents. They are designed, Jerry, as you say, is to create a situation. What Trump does, he create problems and then try to take credit for trying to solve them. But he creating this problem in order to, number one, distract from his own criminal acts. Okay, the Epstein files still hadn't been released. They go to an extent to do that, and that was probably going to be one of his great downfalls. But and people that, enough folks that just willing to go along with them, it baffles me, and I often wondered about when we're talking about World War II and Hitler, then you would ask yourself, why did so many people go along with that killing of the Jews, all this other crazy stuff, that you have one person, one insane person dictating to millions of other people, and they're just like cockroaches. They're just like falling in line. They're doing what masters say do. How can the cult, I'm looking at TV just the other day about these cult leaders and so forth. How they can have so much influence over the many, and good willing people willing to go along with it, baffles the hell out of me. I mean, we have to start thinking for our own. We're not sheep. We're not to follow it. You can think on your own, but why is that? Why the psychology of that you allow one person to control millions, and one insane person on top of all of that? But it has happened in history, and it's happening in front of our own eyes, and people need to wake up. We need to take to the streets again by the million and seek a regime change. And I'm not talking about just the top. I'm talking about a regime change across the board, because you get rid of Trump, his minion's going to be there. We need to seek a complete regime change in this country. That's my 2 cents.
BJ, thoughts?
I think when we hear about this is not our fight, this is not our business, I hear a little bit of something different. What I hear is the part that's not our fight is helping white folk deal with the trauma of what they're seeing happen to their own people. That is not our fight, because we could tell y'all how to deal with it. Y'all wouldn't listen to us anyway. So y'all gonna have to figure out how, because we've been dealing with this trauma generationally for centuries. How you all manage and how you all come together to decide what you're going to do in response to what you're seeing unfold in front of your eyes, I don't believe as though that's black folk business, if I'm just being honest. Now, I agree with you that we do need to lock arms and get in the streets together. I also agree with you that it's going to take millions. I don't know if you've seen the social media footage of the large demonstration out in Minneapolis and minus 10 degrees, and it was 51,000 people. But I looked up the population of Minnesota. Minnesota's 5.7 million people. So even though it looked great on social media, they had the drones flying through so that you could see the crowd, that was less than 1% of Minnesota's population. So that means 99.3% of Minnesota's population sees what's going on and stay their behinds home. And you got to let that sink in, because a lot of us think that it requires a large number of people in order to get social change. 90% of people benefit from 10% of people doing the work. That's the way it's always been historically. Yeah. It's always been roughly 10% of the people in the fight and another 90% benefit. So in order for that thing in Minnesota to have some teeth to it, it would have taken 570,000 people to be out there, not 51,000. 51,000 is a great start, but it ain't gonna materialize into any change. Because again, think about it, 99% of the people see what's going on and didn't even bother to go out there. So we got some work to do.
And do you think that it'd have been more out there if it hadn't been so cold? It was viciously cold there.
It was, but they used to that cold. Minus 10 ain't nothing for them.
Yes.
It may be something for Somalian immigrants, but for them white folk up there, they could handle minus 10. It wasn't a blizzard. The sun was out. I'm just saying. I said what I said.
BJ, I think that a lot of them actually believe that, well, why should I defend those immigrants? Okay. And a lot of them won't get involved with it because they're thinking that, well, I'm not going to put my neck on the line for those immigrants. Okay. But it's not just those immigrants. They're coming for you. And if they've already demonstrated, they're coming for you. If you don't get in line as well, the immigrants are just a scapegoat to get the control over what they need and what they want. So, and I believe that folks, but actually believe that it's not going to affect me, but it will.
Yeah,
I guess I have a slightly different take on this, and it's just my opinion. Until the majority of white America, whether it be white Minnesotans, or however you say their people, white Chicagoans, whatever the case would come together and stand out and vehemently protest what's happening, our involvement is going to be futile, because this is not, we didn't create this. And it's got to take them to be upset and be outraged and hit the streets for us to add any value. Until that happens, we can go out there, march along the 51,000, and they're going to have 51,000 plus whatever of us out there dead in the street. They shot that white lady in her face 3 times. They shot that white man 8 times. Like stood over him and shot him. Like shot him dead. Like, for me, they shot them in the face. What they gonna do to you? What they finna do to me? In this thing. And this is for them, this is like, oh, what's happening? For us, this is Monday. This is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. But does it have to get to Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday for them before they actually do something? Or is this enough? I'm not sure. Like, I still argue, like, this is where I still have a little bit of hesitancy. Like, hold on one second. I was talking to this guy the other day, and he was talking about protesting. He was like, I had to fix my face because his comment was, I look forward to the protests so I can wear my chicken suit and blow bubbles. And I was like, and this is why people getting shot in the face because you're wearing chicken suits and blowing bubbles. All right. And like at what point in time does it progress beyond chicken suits and music and bubbles? How many more of your white brethren and sisters have to be shot in the face or shot in the head, shot in the back, wherever, before you actually get out and take it seriously and get out and do something? And I'm not saying that everybody, those who are engaged, like the groups out in Okaloosa County, I know those same folks who get in it, and I'm not saying that they're not engaged. What I am saying is that that's just 6 or 7 people in Okaloosa County. What about the rest of the people in Okaloosa County? What about the rest of the people in Escambia County? Hell, what about the 99.3% of the people in Minnesota? Why are they not out there? Like, we didn't necessarily create this. We live it. It's our lived experience every day. But how much more do we have to do? When are y'all gonna step up? When are y'all gonna do it? I think that's my.
Do you think that some of this killing is symbolic or maybe collateral killings to deter people? They're gonna sacrifice a few white lives in order for them to stand down so that they can have their way with the other. I noticed they haven't killed any people of color just yet. And now,
well, they have.
I'm talking about. Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say they killed this guy. I think his last name was Porter on New Year's Day. They said he had his gun, firing his gun in the air or something, and the ICE person was off duty and killed him. It's been other people they have shot, and they are in the hospital. They brown people, over 80 people now, not just those two, but those they are white, so they get the coverage that others don't get. You heard very, very, very little about the brothers getting shot on New Year's Day. You hear very little about the ones that they shoot in cars, the same way they shot the lady in Minnesota. They use this tactic that says, we're going to surround the car and make it look like they're trying to run us over so we can shoot them. So they are doing it purposely. Who run out in front of a car? Except if you're trying to do something while you videotaping him in one hand, you shooting in another. So it seemed like it was purposely done to me. And we all know that it was murder on both people and the young man that it happened to on New Year's Day. So if others out there have already been and many of them died in custody at ICE facilities. Pregnant women who lost their babies. It's just a whole host of things happening that would be considered murder if it wasn't for them supposed to be federal agents with what J.D. Vance say and Miller total immunity. In other words, it's all right if you go out there and kill somebody. We're gonna exonerate you, even if it's a trial.
Jerry, I just asked my best friend Google that question, and Google saying there's been at least 27 shootings since January the 20th. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
8 deaths. I want to know how much more will it take for America to react. I don't know. Seems like to me that's more than enough.
So I just want to say I remember when Trump said that he could walk in the middle of Times Square and shoot somebody dead in the face. I remember when the Supreme Court basically said the president can't be held liable for criminal actions. I remember when we were saying all of this, and then not enough folks went out and voted the right way. This is going to get worse. And what he's done is he's taken that action of saying, I can shoot somebody right down on Times Square and weaponize an entire organization in government to have that same impunity. So I do want to point out that impunity does exist for the military, but the military is also kind of controlled. We're still under the Geneva Conventions for as long as that may last. It may not last for very much longer. ICE is under no such no such orders. So it's whatever he comes up with that day. And so it is wrong. It is absolutely wrong. My heart goes out to these families. No parent should have to bury a child. It is just absolutely disgusting. I remember us saying this. I remember Jill every single week coming out saying, hey, this is Project 2025. This is what it looks like. This is the page number. This is what they said they were going to do. There is nothing that is a surprise. Nothing. None of this is a surprise. If we think it's going to get better, it's not. It's going to get worse. The media is going to be more restricted. So we're going to see less and less stories. We've already seen from the Pentagon, the majority of folks who used to report even on military news were all ejected from the Pentagon. So if we think it's going to get better, if we think it's not. So long as he is in office, this doesn't get better.
Yeah, and the only thing they do is like J.D. Vance, Headset, whatever his name is, and Miller. All of them, they do all this tough talking. They are nothing but little cowards running around with power that has been given to them by the same people that was on TV defending ICE agents for murdering this guy. The Republicans I saw this morning, they was on television defending this guy. I mean, these people for killing this guy for his Second Amendment right. They are the one who've been promoting the right to bear arms. They are the one who had when children was cut into and had to use DNA to figure out who they were. They're the ones who saying that you have a right to bear arms and it should not be infringed on. They say the Second Amendment apply, but it only applies when they want it to apply.
I
So
totally agree. BJ, you were talking about where you have pause, and Derek, you were talking about where you have pause. I think my concern and where I have pause is immigration issues are a Black issue. Um, and so what's happening here, what's happening to our neighbors, what's happening to people who came over with TPS, and now all of a sudden you turn on the news and you're no longer protected. That is very much a Black issue. It will always be a Black issue, no matter how the media spins it. Um, when we think about our neighbors who may originally be from Haiti or different parts of Africa or different parts of Latin America and South America, that is a Black issue. And so I don't want us to lose sight of that and standing up for what's right. But is it enough to us going out and protesting? Is it enough to affect change? I really don't know. We've been saying it. We've never been silent about it. What we needed is folks to show up at the ballot box. What we need is this huge resurgence of Democratic voters to actually say to Republicans, you don't represent me. You don't represent us. This neighborhood is not going to stand for that. And I don't see that happening across the country.
So, BJ, you want to say something before I say something? I can see you thinking. You sure?
No, go on ahead.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to the original question first. And then Jerry, I think you answered it. So the question was, when will it be enough? And you just said that they're out there saying that this was justified. So it's never going to be enough. But I'll also add that I talked to a group of 20 to 26-year-olds today, and they were like, of course it's never going to be enough. And some of them went the biblical route. Hold on, BJ, you had something in your mouth. Somebody take some. This is my mom, and she's in the snow. I just need to make sure she's okay, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, Christina, you were saying that we need to turn out to the ballot box, and that's what I'm saying when I'm saying that we have to be involved, because the goal is to stop you from going to that ballot box in the midterm, and this is why it's so important that we be engaged in what's going on. They are not. They are playing. They are playing this the way they planned it is what they are doing right now, because they don't want you to be at the ballot box. They don't want you to vote. They want to stop this midterm election. And that Miller, the vile and vicious, nasty racist, he's behind all of this stuff.
He's behind all of this. Yep.
Stephen Miller.
We're still expecting for people to wake up. We're expecting, we're still talking and Christina, I love that you asked for Democrats to come out. With the 10 million that didn't vote should come out, but so should the 10 million Republicans and MPAs didn't vote. I mean, it's going to take so much more than just Democrats. This no longer is a conversation for just Democrats. It's no longer a conversation for just Black and brown people. I think as soon as you say it's a Black and brown issue, they already tune out. So let's just say immigration is a national issue that everybody in the states of America should be addressing, should be engaging in, should be figuring out how we can protect our communities. Because as soon as we say it's a Black and brown issue, to me, they just like, oh yeah, that's your issue. Take away Black history, oh, that's y'all's issue. Everything's our issue until it becomes their issue. And then by the time they realize that all the issues impact all of us, and in this day and age, it really is coming after you. There is nobody that's protected. I don't know that they're doing it to scare us more than they're just doing it because they're allowed to do it. They're like little kids that just take, steal, eat candy, whatever it is, because they're allowed to. They don't care that that person was white. They wouldn't have cared if that person was black. They probably got 16 bullets instead of 8. But I'm just saying they don't really care. They know that they have free reign right now. So they're doing whatever because, unfortunately, I must say this, BJ and Vernon said they should have just arrested the person on the first place, and then maybe they would think twice. But because we didn't arrest them after the first, well, I know there's been, what he say, 80 shootings, but after any of one of those, then they feel like, hey, I can do it. Plus, who's in the White House, and he's just going to pardon them anyway. So what do you do? But I'll go back to my story. I'm sorry. My mom was fine. She was just letting me know they already have 8 inches and she was going to bed and she had power. I was like, I'm on the show. I thought something was wrong. But I did. I had a conversation with a group of 20 to 26-year-olds, and some of them went biblical and said, if you read the Bible, this is historical. This is what's supposed to happen. And until that time comes, this is the way. It's not going to get better. And then some of them really felt like that they've been watching, and they see many of us, I'm going to say, that are 30 to 60. So we're not talking about those of you who were in the fight 60 and older, but that age group, usually their parents, where they said, well, I saw you do this or I saw you do this, but it didn't change. It didn't change, and it's still not changing. It's worse and it's worse and it's worse. You want us to engage, but you don't come talk to us. You want us to engage, but when we talk, you tell us we don't know. You want us to engage, but when we say something, you say, no, you got to do it this way. You want us to engage, and they just kept going with, you want us to engage. Like, they want to engage. So I think part of it is we have to engage our young people, but we also have to listen. But we also have to engage ourselves in a different way. I don't know what that is yet, but it has to be different, because whatever we did in the past, this is not that time. In the past of recent, I don't mean way back then. I mean, like in the recent times where we said, oh, just go vote, go do vote by mail. Just, if we just get everybody out there, if we tell those 10 million Democrats that decided not to vote because you couldn't check a box because the person didn't look like you, or they did and you couldn't check a box because you just don't vote, it's more than that. So how do we change faster than we ever have? Because 2026, if we don't do it now, it's done.
That's what they have to know, that though too, Jill, that regardless of what, every generation has the responsibility to protect itself. Biblically is things is to show you that this can happen if you don't do something about it. And one of the things that people have to understand is, prophetically, things will come true if you just let it fester. But working, Fannie Lou Hamer was right. So you can pray until you faint, but if you don't get up and do something about it, God ain't gonna put it in our laps. So they have to know as well, young people have to know as well, that these things didn't come easy. They didn't, the things that are being taken away from them now or other things that people fought for and died for and suffered for and went to jail for. Some are still in political prison, has died in prison for fighting for justice and freedom in this country. And, and this is why history is so important, because nobody told them about history, how these things came about, and the history of our people, the greatness of our people. No one has really told them. They have nobody never taught them about that. The struggles, Frederick Douglass and them was in the struggle, Sojourner and Truth was in the struggle. Harriet Tubman then was in the struggle. These things didn't come easy. They was going back and forth into deadly situations. It's a little bit better right now, But there was a memo. This guy was talking about a memo, and I think it was about 2, 3 years ago. No, it wasn't. It was like last year, as a matter of fact. He was saying that when they got through with the Mexicans coming out of Stephen Miller's office, in 18 months they were going after the Black America. That's what he said. Haven't heard from that dude since. I don't know whether they shut him up or what, but that he said came out of Stephen Miller's office. So we have no time to be playing with this, because it's very serious, and they are coming after us, through the Somalian people, through the Haitians, through other people, as was mentioned by Christine, from people from South America and other places, under the pretense they are actually harassing and arresting American people with their identification. ISIS doing that.
And so that's what I would say. Like, your citizenship status will not protect you. Your race will not protect you. How long you lived here will not protect you. Whether or not you speak the language or don't will not protect you. None of those things, that's all like a false security. None of those things are going to protect you. And I mean, that's what we're witnessing. That's what all of us here already knew. But do I see a whole bunch of Republicans standing up saying, "Hey, this is wrong"? I'm not hearing that. And maybe I don't know enough people, but are y'all hearing it? I'm not hearing Republicans standing up saying, "Hey, this is wrong. Hey, we need to look at it different." I'm hearing them double down. So I don't see this big exodus out of the Republican Party. I don't see this huge support for Democratic leaders. I don't see this huge rush for a whole bunch of folks who maybe weren't registered to go register. I haven't seen this rush of people who weren't engaged to go and get engaged. I haven't seen it. And maybe I'm not looking in the right places. Maybe my heart's not in the right place. I don't know, but I just don't feel like there's anything that will protect you from this government and what this government wants at all.
I'm gonna add something that is gonna take the mood of this setting down. I have already accepted there will not be a midterm. It's in Project 2025, and I've not seen anything to indicate that we are in a position or even prepared to stop anything else that has happened. I have prepared myself for no 2026 election. That is what I have done. And the sobering thing about that, though, is I could tell you there ain't nobody in my family who is like, whoo, I'm so glad I voted in 2018, because that 2018 midterm sure changed my life. Ain't nobody made that comment in my family. So ain't nobody is really worried about this election, about this upcoming election. Now, I'm speaking for my family. Maybe y'all families are different, but I don't see anybody in my family talking about mobilizing about, ooh, this is going to probably be our last one, so we got to turn out. Most of them are like 2012, 2018, 2022. It's just another midterm. Don't nothing change when I vote. I'ma still vote, because I feel as though that's we grew up in a voting family, so we do it more so out of tradition, but ain't none of them expecting nothing to change, whether they participate in 2026 or not, whether an election is present or not. And I've basically already preparing myself that I will not be voting in 2026, and there will be martial law, because that's what the design is. And nothing has indicated to me yet that the design as it unfolds will be stopped. And that's mostly because what this man has done, and I'm referring to Trump, he has tapped in to an understanding that most of people have now been relieved of the requirements of common decency. They have been relieved of the requirements of public acceptance of people who don't look like you, who don't speak your language, who don't love the way you love, who don't do the things that you do. Now they like we don't have to pretend like we like them no more. So they've been relieved of that requirement of common decency. And there is no election that's going to fix that. This is a societal problem that we're going to have to reckon with.
You know, I hear what you're saying. I believe that there are decent people that we can get into office in this midterm election. Now, I'm afraid for this midterm election that, and you could possibly be totally right about not being able to participate in the midterm election, because that's the purpose. That's what they are trying to do. But I think there's enough people in this country. I do believe there's enough people in this country to stop what is going on now. They have been trying to provoke people now for months to react to them, and they're not getting the reaction they want. They arrested a 5-year-old and took him to Texas from Minnesota. And used the child for bait to try to get his dad out of the house or his mom out of the house. This 5-year-old child, what kind of inhumane animal would do something like that? And that's what they have turned to. They have become, worse than animals, separating families. That was the same thing that happened to us during slavery. And, to not have no humanity whatsoever, but claim they have children. And, and they probably do. They probably do. But you don't have no concern about this person's family over here, only yours? That's inhumane.
No, I think you both make good points. Just to close this out on this topic, we hear from Lee Patel on our Facebook page says, I think people are afraid to speak out. I hope that you're wrong, BJ. You got to go knock on doors. And she says, no, look at the crowd that came out in Minneapolis, but I think she was late. You already addressed the comment on that. So, we'll continue to keep an eye on this and see as we move on. I think as we move on to our next topic, we spend the next few minutes just talking about stuff that's happened locally in the state of Florida. And
before you go, Derek, I just wanted to read what Margaret Halstetter said, disabled, minorities, political opponents, all people protesting have already been labeled as domestic terrorists. For that reason, we are all the target literally for extermination. Why do you think they are building these concentration camps? Another executive order last July was to be able to collect disabled and homeless people and hold them against their will. So, I guess, that's a good time to change on to the other topic that you wanted to talk about. But people are beginning to see that this thing is running away from democracy is fleeting faster than we thought.
So if we shift gears to what happened in Florida, while those of us were out walking to celebrate the holiday that is given to us as Martin Luther King holiday, Florida Republicans were busy. And on that day, the Florida Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, issued a formal legal opinion declaring that dozens of Florida laws designed to support minority contracting, diverse appointments, and race-conscious programs are unconstitutional. He argues that these laws violate equal protection clause because, in his view, they mandate discrimination based on race. He goes on to say that his office would no longer enforce or defend these provisions, effectively nullifying long-standing civil rights-oriented statutes without legislative action. And his decision targets roughly about 80 state laws and programming, including state contracting, set-asides for minority-owned businesses, loan programs for Black-owned businesses, requirements for racial diversity on state boards, and data collection mandates related to race and equity. And he frames these programs as unconstitutional after the U.S. Supreme Court 2023 decision restricting affirmative action in college submissions. Were you guys aware that this took place on Martin Luther King holiday?
I wasn't aware that it took place on Martin Luther King holiday. That's but this is this is why our unity is so important, because it's a lot of things that he's talking about. We don't need him. We don't need them. We have to do what we have to do ourselves, and I know that, we ought to have equal opportunity because we pay taxes in this state. We shouldn't pay taxes if we can't participate in those processes, if we can't have contracts, if we, exempt us from the tax roll, if we are not, if we can't participate. And this is why it's so important, but that need to go out everywhere, Derek, what you talking about, what you just explained, because I'm sure that a whole lot of people haven't heard about it, because I hadn't heard about it. So I know there's not a whole lot of people that have heard about it, because that is deep right there. That nothing that was fought for and worked hard to get is now, nullified in the state of Florida. Wow.
It's unfortunate when we talk about this, and to the point, even this week, it was felt the issue and the opinion that has reverberated into policies and actions that have happened here locally. I know many of the grant programs through the Pensacola Black Chamber had to be rewritten, where they had to remove all of the information, the words with Black and diversity and equity, et cetera. So all of these things had to be removed from the language in order to continue to have these state-based contracts and federal grants and the statewide grants that come in. This is unfortunately, where we are just by his done. And he did so just by issuing an opinion. This is not a change in statute for state statutes. This is him making his opinion and saying what the Office of the Attorney General is no longer willing to do. And this, again, when we talk about it, I know we're talking about midterms and how nobody views it, but I look at 2026 is going to be critical. If you are a 501c3, if you are a Black-owned business, especially Black-owned businesses who bid on these state contracts, this affects you. This is hands down going to hurt you and hit you hard. And this is the things that we need to be coming against. And the best way to do so is at the ballot box.
My
Go ahead, BJ.
My thoughts on this, and I kind of alluded to this with Derek earlier. My thoughts on these positions, these policies, we were always renting a seat at the table. We were always. And when every position that we occupied was always a leasing agreement, in my view, subject to changes whenever the people in power deemed them necessary. And like Andrew Gillum said in his debate, I don't think Ron DeSantis is racist, but I think the racist thinks he's a racist. Clearly, he has surrounded himself with people who believe that that everything that they are doing, he is okay with. And I believe he's okay with it. But we were fighting so hard to get seats at the white man's table, only to realize that we were always guests. And white women, I think, are going to suffer a lot because of this too. Because the truth is they really want to go back to a white male dominated society. And white men only make up about 25% of the population. And we have spent, the 75% of us have spent all of our lives trying to get a seat at the 25% table instead of just building our own damn table. It's 75% of us fighting to be at 25% of the man's table. I don't understand it. History has happened, so we can't go back and relive that. But hopefully the decision moving forward is not to kick and scream to fight for a seat at their table that we can be subjected to have removal a generation from now. I'm not looking to go back. Y'all don't want us there. Let's build our own stuff. Why am I going to fight to be at your table and you don't want me there anyway? Oh Lord, my family hears me going off and they're like, "Ooh, you tell them."
Yeah, I think also what, we keep talking about it, but I just want to emphasize on Martin Luther King Day, when we observe progress and the legacy of this Martin Luther King, and on civil rights, we think about civil rights. He took that day to issue and dismantle civil rights in the state of Florida. And here's what's, I'm like, sometimes like I don't want to say what I want to say, but I'm just gonna move on. Like, I look at it in this, the way he did it was so, I don't know, orchestrated, because he requested the opinion from himself, because he was able to utilize and leverage his role as a cabinet member in the DeSantis administration to trigger the mechanism that normally requires a request from another state official. So someone else, a state cabinet member, has to be able to request the opinion for an attorney general for him to write this. He said, well, I'm a state cabinet member. I'm just going to request it for myself. How duplicitous is that? Like, on this day, like, to think about it, where we have, and it's drawn like massive statewide criticism. If you did not get a chance to see the press conference from that Senator LaVon Bracy Davis held, along with House Leader Fentrice Driscoll, it's just crazy. Everybody's demanding for Meyer's removal from the office of Attorney General, because he is, when you look at it on face value, he is refusing to enforce the laws that have been set on the books, that have been precedent and on state statute. Now, it's funny because you would think he would be removing him quickly, because what has he done historically? When people haven't followed the laws that he said, they get run up out of office. I can recall 2 state's attorneys in Florida that lost their jobs, quote, because they weren't following the statutes and they refused to uphold the law that's been decided. Now, you got some random white man at the top of the ticket who's refusing to uphold the law, but he get a pass. It's always something.
We're struggling over here, Dan.
Why are you struggling?
Because I think that sometimes, like, the audacity for you to do it on MLK. They had that plan 2 years ago. I mean, they already knew what they were going to do. They have their stuff so in sync. DeSantis knew what he was going to do. He probably told them how to do it, or their team of people that read 2025. How do we make this come to fruition? Oh, what you do is on MLK Day, I want you to go out there and give your opinion. We'll let you do it. Make them angry.
Yes.
But I'm not shocked. I think it's horrible, don't get me wrong, but I'm not shocked. He is. You really think that he's going to tell him to sit down? He did Monique, but he did Monique because A, she doesn't look like him, and because he could. Just like he could remove her, he could not remove him, and that's a choice he made. Why are we shocked? This is just, I'm at the point where, what time is it? Okay, because I can't take too much of that movie you made us watch, Vernon. But I'm just saying, I have to give you 6 minutes. I can't take too much. I had to leave the house twice in my own house watching your movie. But anyway, but if you look, I mean, that's where we are. I'm just saying, I'm just telling you where we are. We need to stop saying that we're shocked. We need to stop saying we can't believe. We need to stop believing. I love you, Jerry, but we can't believe that that there's going to be all these good people that are going to do something. Because if they were going to do something by now, they would have done something, anything. They're still way too quiet. I won't go with, I mean, there are people that are now waking up, but are you waking up fast enough? People are dying every day. I should remember. Okay, I have to hire you. I have to do this. I have to be around people that don't look at me. When he got in office, that's gone. They can say, I don't like you in your face. They can call you the N-word in your face. They can shoot you in your face. They can do whatever they want to do, and it's okay. And they have been waiting years to be able to be who they really are. Years they have been fighting this, and their parents are telling them, and their grandparents are telling them, and now they can be that, and they do until they get their supremacy of white males, only if you're good enough too. So don't think that just because you're a white male, you're going to be accepted. You got to be good enough, whatever that is. That's what they really want. That's what they really want. And so I think we need to stop being shocked. I think we speak out about it, Derek, but okay, they spoke out about it. Is he changing his mind? Does he back down? Do you see more people? Did you see, I mean, you may as well say it because you the one who called me. Did the Florida Democratic Party say something? Is the Republican Party saying something? Is anybody saying anything? Or we're just going to talk about it on Sunday night so we can make people aware that should have been aware because this is their state? Just saying. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. Vernon, I hope I got you down to about 2 minutes to talk about your movie. Go ahead, Vernon. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
so we got about 3 minutes. Let's discuss because and I want to get everybody's thoughts. You, Mr. Vernon, you gave us homework, and we all actually did the homework.
Yeah.
Right. Jones Plantation. So I'm gonna tell y'all, for those of y'all out in the audience, don't watch that. Don't watch that, because you just gonna be mad. This is already a hostile environment, and that ain't gonna do any good for you. BJ and Jill, summarize your thoughts.
Not KK and TT. I mean,
right, not KK and TT.
I felt like the lesson that was so eloquently summarized in that monologue at the end.
Wait, BJ, put the long monologue up. I had to leave her, and I was like, okay, that enough is freaking enough. Can you just finish your monologue? Because the sound in the background is overwhelming. I like it.
I was just thinking, we got that message about 30 to 45 minutes in from when your boy showed up. I was like, okay, I see where this is going. Thank you for summarizing it for the people who made it to the end.
Yeah, no, I didn't think that's where it was going. I was hoping there was going to be a trick. I was like, this man going to pull a trick. He's going to take over. He steals plantations. That's what's going to happen. Certainly. But all I could think of was like, he Byron Donalds.
Oh, no. I knew when they had ate KK. I knew when she got eaten, I said, When our back was eaten out, I said, no, he a Byron Donalds. He ain't a, what was the one that was Nat Turner? He ain't a Nat Turner. He a Byron Donalds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Vernon.
So for those of
We
you
did
who
watch
want to
it.
watch the movie, go watch it. It's on Tubi.
Okay.
It's
All
called
right.
Jones Plantation. But thank you,
I know
Mr.
y'all.
Vernon.
I throw that out there so you can look at it, but I'm gonna throw another one for you too.
No, that's all
Because
right.
there's to think about for next week when we're speaking on the same subject about this movie. Why do you think that the movie what's the new movie that got 16 nominations for the Academy Award?
Sinners.
Sinners. Okay, now what's the difference? Sinners got 16 nominations for the Academy Award. Y'all think about that. We'll talk about that next time. Why do you think that would be then?
Because Sinners was brilliant.
Well, okay. I don't argue that one, but just think about it for next week. We ain't got time for this week.
I'm putting it
Jerry,
on the schedule now.
I want Jerry's thought and Jill's thought on it before we go real quickly on the movie. Let Christina check that on us.
Yeah, I already told you I had to leave my house twice. It's my house. And I had to leave that in my house. Like I had to go sit on my porch, like I need to take a deep breath. And now I can go back inside my own house. I was like, Vernon, you had a whole bunch of words this weekend for Vernon. Like, why am I watching this? Go ahead, Jerry.
Jerry?
I'm gonna have to watch it, but I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I'm like,
Okay.
I'll have to watch it.
That's a tough one. It's a tough one. Well, we are at time. It is now 9:01. We just want to take a moment to say thank you to our audience for joining in. Thank you to our Facebook group and our wonderful folks who joined us this week. We ask that you join us next week, same time, same channel. We thank you. It is going to be the start of Black History Month. We're going to open up Black History Month with a bang. So we thank you for joining us. Have a great week, and we will see you next week.
And don't forget Tuesday and Thursday morning.
Yes.
With Vernon.
Tuesday. Oh, yes, Tuesday and Thursday.
And Wednesday.
And Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday too. Yeah, well, I was gonna say I almost had to jump on the Zoom on when you had what's his name on it. I was like, why does he keep having it, man?
I was watching.
When you talking about Charles? When I was
I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. What? Okay, like no, that's all right. Y'all have a good night.
You got to know what the enemy is thinking, Derek.
But sometimes people could be influenced by that crazy. So that's
Vernon, have your music ready next Sunday.
Okay, I want to drop it in this. In fact, when I hang up, I'm gonna try to drop it in here so I can have it ready next time, Jill. Just for you. I thought I did it last week, but I must have. When you get old, you remember the second thing to go. So I must have forgotten it. So I'll put it on next week. Okay.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, y'all. Y'all take